Alright, what's going on, guys? We got a trade recap today for Monday, June 30th. Took one win on a little scalp short to this internal liquidity. This was the trade right here. I took it on Top Step X because it was a new 50K eval that I just got. And I took it on eval because, I didn't really want to go short. And I'm kind of experimenting. This was taken on the 5-second chart, so we'll go over and break down everything about it. Just gaining confidence, executing on the lower time frames as well. And we'll go over why this was still a very, very good trade. And then, obviously being this zoomed in, it's impossible to execute on two different accounts. And so, I just took this on the 50K eval because it was going short in these market conditions. But so this was the trade right here. We're going to break it down on TradingView. So I'm just going to go full screen NQ because it was pretty much the exact same setup on ES. But coming into the day, on NQ, we had already taken all-time highs pre-market, right? So coming in, we have this 1 hour imbalance right here that we were originally holding. And I wanted to keep it very simple today and just, see internal structure play out, on this rebalance and take longs to this hourly liquidity that was just created. And if we actually go to, I took a screenshot of this pre-market and posted in the market updates, not this one. This is what we looked like pre-market. We were holding this 1 hour imbalance before the market opened, and we had an internal SMT. So obviously, this looked great for longs pre-market. Wanted to see some displacement higher once the market opened and take that hourly liquidity up there. But clearly, we ended up running through this 1 hour imbalance. And so if we just go to the 15-minute chart or even the 5-minute chart and go into market replay, I want to be long. But once we get this first 5-minute Diddy candle, okay, we get this 5-minute death candle. Logically thinking, what are we doing here? And keep in mind, NASDAQ is the more bearish, is more bearish than ES at this time too. Where are we going, right? Where we don't just get this move for no reason, okay? If we're not going to hold the 1 hour imbalance that we already had marked out pre-market, we had this SMT, we disrespected it, and we got this death candle. Where are we going? We're going to this next prominent drawn liquidity. It's pretty much confirmed after this big death candle, right? Coming to the 15, there's really no imbalance in here that we're going to hold. The next high time frame imbalance is this 4 hour down here. And what resides within the 4 hour imbalance? This prominent swing low, this hourly swing low. So, the market moves on liquidity. This confirms, okay, we're probably coming to this significant swing low down here. Within the lower imbalance, it's just going to be a further retracement before we probably later on today and tomorrow continue pumping to all-time highs. So this gives me confirmation to potentially zoom in to look for a short. So at this point in time, it's very highly unlikely that we're going to get a 5-minute fair value gap to open up and then execute on because we're moving super, super fast. Also, another confluence. Today is a no news Monday. So if we're going to get an efficient move towards a drawn liquidity, I'd expect it to be within the first 30 minutes of the market open. And you can see we get this move here and then we just chop for the rest of the AM session, okay? No news Monday. If we're going to get efficient price action, I expect it to be off very early on off the market open bell. So we get this placement, this 5-minute candle closes. I'm like, okay, let me zoom in and see where we have these imbalances at on the 1-minute chart. So right now I'm looking to see a rebalance into this area. This is literally the only bearish imbalance in the range, and then get bearish confirmation potentially to this liquidity. So this is our high time frame draw. We've had that middle time frame displacement confirmation on the 5-minute chart. So now I'm looking for a pullback, a rebalance, and low time frame confirmation to the sell side. So advancing in price, I'm waiting for a rebalance, waiting for a rebalance. I don't really think we're going to get one at this point because we're so down and close to taking it. And if we don't get a rebalance, there's just no trade, right? But we do get a rebalance, so patient for that. We rebalance to this 1 minute for value gap right here. And now I want to see bearish reaction. Okay, so we advance in price. We open up an imbalance right here. So boom, if this gets inversed, that tells me that we're confirmed holding this imbalance. We ran through this bullish imbalance. I would be good to go short right here. And this trade would be about a 1.1 RR trade. So boom, if we get this, I'm good to go short. So if we continue in price, we hold it again, and then we come back up. Oh no, we don't. We hold it, and then we eventually get this big displacement candle down, right? So clearly, like, I want to go short here, but the risk to reward, right? My stop needs to be up here. And the risk to reward once this candle closes is very, very bad. If we don't get a retest of this inverse for value gap, I'm not going to take a trade because the RR is just not good enough, right? And the next candle opens and we come down and we take the internal low. Now the thing to note here is we don't take this high time frame draw on liquidity. We did not take this low. What did we do? We come down and formed equal lows with it, okay? So we formed equal lows, but because we took this internal low right here, which normally stops go to break even here, I'm still willing to potentially go short because we have formed equal lows, but I need to see even more confirmation because we already took that internal low. So I noticed we opened up this 1 minute for value gap right here, and so at this point, we could potentially come up and rebalance, but I would need to see even more confirmation that we're going to hold this and continue lower. So what do I do? Because at this point, what could we also do? We could also just come back up, rebalance to this 5 minute that has now opened, and then get the entry model lower. So I need to have confirmation that we're going to hold this 1 hour imbalance. So we come up back into it, and what do I do at this point? I'm zoomed into the 5-second chart. Zoomed in to the 5-second chart. I'm gonna have to go back into replay. Let's see if I can find it again. So we come up, rebalance to this 1 minute. Super bearish, high time frame draw is still intact. It's even more of a, I have even more confidence if we get bearish reactions out of here because they're equal lows now. High time frame draw, equal lows, everything is super, super bearish right now. So I'm zoomed into this 1 minute for value gap, looking for the exact same thing that I would normally look for, market structure shift, displacement on the 5-second chart. So we come up, we build some structure here, and we eventually come up and sweep this high right here. We eventually come up, have an internal sweep on liquidity, boom. We have the internal sweep, so what am I looking for now? I'm looking for a market structure shift. This is the significant swing low within the range. And then I would also love to see this last remaining bullish imbalance. This is the only bullish imbalance within the range. I would love to see this market structure shift and this bullish imbalance get ran through. If that happens, that's all I need to see for this move right here. So we come down, we wick it out originally, and then we come down and we displace lower and through it. Boom, we have the market structure shift. We've ran through the only remaining bullish imbalance, and so boom, I slap on a long pretty much right here. Stops have to be above the protected high, which swept liquidity. Boom. And then obviously I'm waiting for a retrace to get a little bit of a better entry. So I actually got filled around right here. It was about a 1.1 RR trade. It got filled right here. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I needed to see. We eventually did come up and rebalance to this 5-second imbalance right here. Potentially could have waited to get filled, placed a limit order for a much better RR. So that's something that I can improve on in the future. But like I said, I don't, if you watch these recaps, I don't normally take a bunch of trades on the seconds charts, but right here is an example of when you're able to zoom in because everything is aligned, right? We have confidence in the high time frame drawn liquidity. We have that clear, obvious displacement. We've respected this 1 minute, okay? And we open up another 1 minute and we're respecting it with 5-minute internal structure. With this internal structure, this swing low now becomes pretty free in my opinion, right? It's the exact same thing. It doesn't matter what time frame you're on. The model, the market is fractal, and this is the exact same thing that we would look for on the higher time frame. So this right here would be internal sell model inside of the higher time frame sell model, right? With that high time frame drawn liquidity, this would just be a simple retracement. We got that rebalance. Also, I guarantee you, if we draw equilibrium is right around in this range somewhere. But yeah, those were the confluences for the trade that I took. Again, we can see we get this move down. We take this liquidity, and this is the 15-minute chart. Okay, what do we do afterwards? We consolidate. No news Monday. Expecting if there's going to be a good trade and a volatile move and an efficient move towards a drawn liquidity, it's going to be very early on into the market open. So like I said, what do we do after we take this liquidity? We just chop and consolidate. There's nothing here to trade after that. And then once again, just going to top step X, just showing the seconds executions. I posted this in the Discord, but it's hard for me to, if I'm this zoomed into the charts, it's very, very hard for me to post live market updates about wanting to take this trade, right? Because I'm so zoomed in, so wasn't able to really update it on in the Discord, but this was the internal trade that I took to this sell side liquidity, and like I said, it feels pretty much confirmed. That drawn liquidity feels pretty confirmed once we get this opening displacement death candle. Where is the market going? Like I said, where is the market going after we have this huge sell-off? To the drawn liquidity, which is right here. So what can we do? We can zoom in and find the internal structure on the lower time frames to confirm it. So that's the trade recap for today. A little bit more of an in-depth one because it wasn't, straightforward. It wasn't just like a straightforward long, right? Which I originally wanted to see, this long could play out during the PM session. And obviously the higher probability trades when we're at all-time highs are going to just be longs, right? But like I said, I had a lot of confidence in this drawn liquidity, so I zoomed in and took it. I had all the confirmation I needed. So yeah, that's the trade recap for today. We'll see what kind of structure forms overnight. Unfortunately, Powell speaks tomorrow, literally right when the market opens. So I don't think I'm going to trade tomorrow at all because yesterday, let me just pull up the news calendar real quick. All right, we can see right at 9:30 tomorrow, Powell speaks. And he's going to be speaking for pretty much the whole AM session, right? It's not just a 9:30, news drops at 9:30 and then we get one volatile candle. No, he's going to be speaking the whole time. So tomorrow is extremely low probability. If you want to gamble, go ahead. But me personally, not going to be taking any chances with that, especially seeing how the market reacted every single day that he spoke last week on Tuesday, Wednesday. It was terrible PA, so not going to be trading tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we should be good to trade, and then Friday will be a bank holiday for July 4th. So we'll only be trading Wednesday, Thursday of this week because Tuesday Powell speaks, Friday is a bank holiday. So no trades Tuesday, Friday, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm going to be off the charts tomorrow, but I'd assume the bias is going to be bullish, right? Throughout the remainder of the week, being at all-time highs. Obviously, would want to see some displacement past it, not just a sweep of this high. So we'll see what happens. But that's the market recap, trade recap. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.